Welcome back to CryptoZonZ, peer-to-peer financial empowerment. Hashtag love all, serve others. What is financial freedom? We'll do zone coverage today in zone 3, which is personal development. We'll talk about what is financial freedom. And I am doing this episode today at the identical place I did a video 1 year ago today, July 4th, 2019. But happy 4th of July to you, happy Independence Day. So much has changed. You know, just being down here and thinking about all the things that have changed in my life since a year ago. I was doing videos on a different YouTube channel, and every single one of the videos I did is a cartoonized version. I would take the video and then use this app that transcribes it into somewhat of a cartoonized version. I will likely do some of those in the near future here on CryptoZonZ, but part of what freedom is the freedom of choice. Primarily to me, what freedom is, what even financial freedom is the freedom of forward momentum. And we shouldn't take that lightly. And just as a reminder, for me, to you, is that let's reflect on, you know, what a great blessing that is for us to be able to just walk wherever we want to go wherever we want to, and hopefully 100% of the time or 99.9% of the time, we won't be obstructed. I just thank God for the freedom we have in this country, freedom of religion, freedom of choice, and it affords us a great ability to do that without being confronted or asked why. So that really is, to me, the crux of what true freedom is, the freedom of forward momentum. And when I think of other places I've been on Earth, it's very different than it is in America. There's a lot more surveillance, which is kind of creepy. But even in USA today, with the onset of the internet and all kinds of new technological innovation, it seems to creep into being able to surveil or to collect data. But having said that, there are things that we can do to minimize that. But when I think back from just 1 year ago to today, I migrated my channel to a second channel and then now to a third channel called CryptoZonZ. And the reason why I did that is I wanted to have the freedom to be able to talk about anything at all that I wanted to, albeit that I have a very specific, focused interest in Bitcoin, crypto, blockchain, and peer-to-peer financial technology. So what I've done, as a quick reminder for CryptoZonZ, is I've divided up into 12 different zones like the numbers on a clock. Number 1 is Bitcoin, crypto, blockchain, and fintech, peer-to-peer fintech. Number 2 is Wall Street and traditional finance. Number 3 is personal development. I have other niches in there. One is miscellaneous, which will afford me the ability to talk about anything at all. So, but under number 3, the zone of personal development, just as a reminder, we'll talk about what is financial freedom today, and just really the basic fundamental is that freedom to afford momentum there also. I just think of, like, my wife went to the ATM the other day to take out $500, and yeah, they have $500 as a limit. I mean, we asked them to bump that up to 4 times that. They said no, a lack of freedom. It's you know, it's our money after all, but since we hand over the custody of that money to someone else, then we have to, you know, be under the umbrella of their constraints or their rules or whatever they want. But it's insidious in a way that the controls or the fees that they designed to extract from you and I mean, $500, and they said, yeah, you can take out $500, but only $300 at a time. So of course she got $300 out, and this particular ATM was a $2 fee. Well, for her to get $500 out now, instead of being $2, it's $4. It's gone up 100% essentially, and it's just a good example to me of the ways that some of these the Wall Street and traditional finance, they sit in these boardrooms trying to conjure up ways to extract more fees. They're starving for profits. Their margins are lessening, largely due to the innovations that are now available in the free world with Bitcoin, cryptos, and peer-to-peer financial technology. But that is a very real dynamic that this new technology affords us. And so I really appreciate it. And that is the main reason why I started going down a rabbit hole of researching it back in 2015. Excuse me. It's going to be a very hot day. It's still morning where I'm at, but it's so humid and it's so hot. today, but thank God for the great sunny weather. Lots of people down here just experiencing the freedom and the fresh air and natural creation of the beauty. I was down here earlier with one of my sons, and we looked out on this green space right in front of us, and right kind of underneath our view, so to speak, but once we looked at the grass, there was hundreds and hundreds of little types of wasps or bees that were eating. They're feeding the nectar from the little clover. I don't know what kind of flowers there are down there, but it was pretty cool. It was an example of natural freedom. It was awesome. But that is I want to keep this episode very, very brief, but that is one very real and inherent difference that the cryptos enable us. It is a truly decentralized economy. It's an independent economy that separates it from something that was there, existed previous. It's trustless. It's permissionless. You don't have to have permission to involve yourself in it. You can just do it. It can't be shut down. It has no CEO, no office, no brick and mortar, no officers to shut down. It's borderless. It's truly global. It's low or no fee. It's censorship resistant. It's instantaneous. And of course, it's independent or free. And that is, I think, the greatest inherent value of what this represents in the first place. So I encourage you to consider this type of economy into your portfolio or the way that you manage what money you do have. Of course, this is not financial advice. You are the only one responsible for your own actions. But in light of today's economy, it sure bodes well for us to consider doing that. It brings to mind a Paul Tudor Jones, who was an icon on Wall Street, who said, hey, I think it was in April he came out and said that his multi-billion-dollar assets under management hedge fund, he's putting between 1% to 2% in Bitcoin. And even since then, there's been so much continued development. Just recently, Cardano is one that has been in the top 10 for a long time, but it will be somewhat of a competitor to Ethereum because of the smart contracts that will be available on it. But it just launched Shelley, or an upgrade to the improvement of the platform. And we're seeing just the prevalence of the continuation of improvement of software, improvement of the technology, and the adding of features. I just read an article on another project that enables us to, within 60 seconds, to download the app, enter in your information, and make a transaction within 60 seconds. It was they were able to integrate a minimization of all the KYC and AML information that is necessary, but yet they were able to do something that's legal and will very much be able to reside even as an application for all American citizens, except for, like New York, you can't do it. There was only 3 other states that it's not going to be able to work in at present, but it's just a great example of the continued development of freedom, financial freedom. And financial freedom, when you mention that word, most people think, oh, what are we going to do to make money so that we can be financially free? We don't have to work. Well, obviously, I'm not talking about that per se. I'm talking about a way to operate in an economy that gives you much more financial freedom. And when I was sitting down here early with my son, we looked at a way of operating our finances, a way of taking control of our finances that works on a 48-week year instead of a 52-week year. And it's a way of disciplining, operating the books for an individual. So what it represents is an 8.3% gift to ourselves. And it brings to memory the quote by Albert Einstein. He said, he has a quote that says, the greatest power in the universe is the power of compounding interest. And I want to mention the rule of 72 here. It is something that it baffles my mind, the amount of people who don't know or have never heard of what the rule of 72 is. If you don't know, Google it, find out what it is. It is the random number 72, but when you divide an interest rate into 72, you get the number of years for that investment to double. For example, if you invest in an interest-bearing financial vehicle that will give you 8% interest per year, well, 72 divided by 8 is what? 9. So if you begin with $1,000 and invest it at 8%, it'll take 9 years for that investment to double. So when you get up into like an 18% investment, that means that your $1,000 could double in 4 years. It's extremely powerful. And in our minds, we think arithmetically, or we think along a line that goes straight up diagonally like that. But actually with the compounding interest dynamic, our money can work exponentially. And we don't think. We think, oh, 1,000 years at 12%, oh, maybe it'll be 12,000 in 12 years. Well, it's much, much greater than that. So just figure out and add that to your arsenal. If you don't have that already, the understanding of what the rule of 72 is. But primarily, this new economy affords us the ability to add freedom, less fees, and the ability to utilize interest rates to our advantage to grow our bags exponentially. Hashtag love all servos. I appreciate it if you like and subscribe and click on the green planet there. I wish you well, I wish you wealth, I wish you health. And until next time, peace.